Okay, so you know a little bit about how muscles contract and about their anatomy, how they're structured and built, but what are the major muscles of the body? All right, let's go. You have about 650, actually a little bit more than 650 named muscles in the body. Actually, if you were to count all the muscles, it would be well over 800 different types of muscles in your body. We're just gonna hit like less than 20 of them just to give you some of these major muscles, the ones that you can find easily on your body, and you probably should know the names of them. You've probably heard the names of a lot of these muscles. You've ever been to the gym, you got the guys that are there, you know, oh yeah, so today I'm going to work my delts and my lats and my traps and my abs and my glutes, and of course I have to work my pecs. Out of the way, pec. So, you've probably heard a lot of these, but what the heck is a delt, trap, lat, glute, ab, pec? What are those? Those are actually abbreviations of the actual Latin anatomical names for the different muscles. Well, sometimes Latin, sometimes Greek. It all depends on which muscle it is. So, here we go. I'm going to take you on a tour from the head down as far as I can get down in the lower leg. We're going to go through some of the major muscles in the body. I'm going to show you what their name is, where they're attached, and what they kind of do. And I'm going to give you their names, so you'll be able to identify them. Also, how to flex them. I'm going to show you how to flex them so that you can find them easily on your own body. Now, one thing you need to know about the way these larger skeletal muscles, and that is that they work in what's called antagonistic pairs. Let me explain that. So I've got my bicep right here. You have to know a rule about muscles, even before I get to the antagonistic pairs. The main rule about muscles is this: a muscle can only pull. That's all a muscle can do. It can pull, it cannot push. Now you can push, but you're not a muscle, you're an organism, okay? So you can push by having different groups of muscles pulling for you in a forward direction, and I'll explain how that works, all right? So muscles can only pull, and that means that if I have my bicep, and my origin of my bicep is here, and the insertion is down here, when this bicep contracts, it pulls my arm this way. Well, if my muscle can only pull, there's no way to get my arm back. I'd have to like drop it down and let gravity take over, and then it kind of flops around, and then I can pick it up, and then I can do this again, but then I have to let gravity take over. No, I don't have to do that. Why? Because when my bicep contracts to pull, on the other side, I have a tricep, and that tricep will contract to straighten my arm back out. So an antagonistic pair, you have muscles that are on opposite sides of a particular motion that allow you to pull one way or another. This is important to know, especially if you are an athlete and you are lifting weights and working out. You must not neglect working the antagonistic pairs. If you're going to do curls, you must do triceps. If you're going to do bench press, you must do rowing, okay? If you're going to do leg curls, you have to do, leg extensions, you have to do leg curls, all right? You have to work the antagonistic pairs. It's very, very important to maintain balance and strength throughout your entire body. So you have to do that. So here we go. We're gonna start up in the head, and we're gonna work our way down through the body, identifying different types of muscles. The first two are really, really easy. Up in your temple, right here on the side of your head, you have the temporalis. That's a really good one, the temporalis. And then right below that in your cheek, you have the masseter. Temporalis and masseter. These two muscles give power to your jaw for chewing. So if you put your hands here, and then you pretend like you're chewing gum, clench your teeth together, you will feel the muscle here in your temporal and in your temple pulsing. If you squeeze down here by your jaw, do the same thing, you'll see that muscle beginning to flex and move. These muscles give power to your jaw for chewing. Very important. Now, you have another cool muscle, and this muscle is named, it's one of the longest names that you'll have to know for muscles, but it's actually named on where it is attached, okay? You have the Sternocleidomastoid Sternocleidomastoid. Sternum and clavicle. It's attached here, and it's attached up to a bone in the skull called the mastoid process. So sternocleidomastoid, and you can see it if you turn your head really hard. It comes in right there. I'm hoping you can see it because I can't see if I can see it or not. So it's right in there. That is the sternocleidomastoid. You can feel the tendon here for sure. As you turn your head hard one way or another, you'll have one on the other side, you will have it, and you'll feel that muscle right there. So that's the sternocleidomastoid. Okay? Typically not one that you would normally work out in the gym. I'm going to go sternocleidomastoid lifting. No, you wouldn't do that. All right? So those are those. Now let's get down to some of the ones that actually you might be familiar with. Okay? The first one is the pecs. The pecs stand for pectoralis. That's your chest muscles. Okay? Now you've actually got two of these, and I'll show you how to find both. All right? The main muscle, the larger one, the pectoralis muscle in the chest, if you take your hand and you put it onto the side of a chair or the side of a desk, or just pretend with your hand lower than your shoulder, pretend like you're pushing inward on something, like that, like you're trying to move someone out of the way, like that. Okay, if you do that, you will feel the pectoralis muscle flexing. That's the main one. That's the pectoralis major. It's the largest one. But you do have a pectoralis minor that also helps with that activity. It sits up just underneath the collarbone right here. Now, when your hand is low, it doesn't do anything. But if you lift your hand above your head and then push in, like that, you feel this muscle right here, just underneath your collarbone. It begins to flex, and you can feel that. It's up here. So arm below and push in really hard, and you'll feel your pectoralis major. Up above and push in really hard, and you feel your pectoralis minor. And those are your two pectoralis muscles, or the pecs. Okay. Now, then you have the one that's back here on your neck. Okay, if you shrug your shoulders really high up and feel up here, you feel this muscle right here in your neck, kind of on the back part of your neck, all scrunching up. That is called the trapezius. The trapezius muscles are here on your neck. All right, so if you take and shrug like that, put one hand like right on your neck like that, and shrug up really hard, and you'll feel that muscle bunching up right here. It's the Spock pinch, Star Trek Spock pinch muscle right there at the trapezius. It's called the trapezius because it's actually trapezoid shaped. It actually goes onto your back and covers a fair amount of your scapula, your shoulder blades, on the back part of your back. So the upper part of your back here is actually mostly trapezius. There's other muscles laid underneath it. Remember, I'm only going to give you less than 20, and there's actually over 800. So, all right, so that's your trapezius right there. Then you have your deltoid. Your deltoid is actually triangle shaped, comes down to a point right here. It's the muscle right here in your shoulder, okay? And it actually forms a triangle, thus the Greek letter delta is a triangle, so it's called the deltoid. So when they talk about your delts, that's the muscle. And your delts, what you need to do, pretend like you've grabbed something really, really heavy, like a jug of milk, and you lift it up straight to the side, like that, and you can feel your delt muscle flexing right there. That's your deltoid. Okay, now two that everyone should know. You've got your biceps. Everyone knows your bicep. That's the muscle here. Okay, that's the muscle there. And then you've got your tricep. It's the one on the back. Sept, by the way, simply means head. So a bicep has 2 connection points at its origin. A tricep has 3 connection points at its origin. Now there's different parts of that tricep, okay, that all have those separate heads, but it's really one muscle working together. So to straighten your arm back out, you can see the tricep right in here. It's beginning to flex. That's your tricep. Okay, so bicep, tricep. Now, right here in your forearm, there's a really interesting muscle. It's called the brachio, which is the upper arm. Radialis, remember the radius, this bone right here? Brachioradialis. It's connected here to the brachial arm, the humerus, and it's connected down here to the radius. And the way you get that one to flex is you pretend like you're grabbing something. So I'm going to grab, what can I get? Here's a pine cone. All right, so I'm going to take my pine cone right here, see if I can do this, and I'm going to pretend like it's really, really heavy, and I'm going to pick it up. And when I squeeze like this and lift, I can see that muscle right here popping out. That, when I relax it, see it goes away, and then I squeeze and lift and I see it pop out. That's the brachioradialis. And that helps you to lift things up like this and helps you to get your hand and your forearm squeezing and your thumb working, and it's a very important muscle. And that one works, it's one of the major ones that work with the extending of the fingers and the flexing of the fingers. And those are simply muscles in your forearm here that extend. Those are called the extensors. And the ones down here underneath that will pull back to flex, those are called the flexors. Extensors and flexors. All right, so you've got those down in your forearm, and that's what makes all this nonsense right in here. Okay, so see. Oh, then you have your Latissimus Dorsi. The Latissimus Dorsi, that is the one that everyone calls the wings, your lats or your wings. And it is when you pull your arm all the way around in the front and kind of push down like that, you feel it flex right along there. And that is the Latissimus Dorsi. Where the trapezoid is up top in your upper part of your back, the Latissimus Dorsi comes around here to the lower part of your back. Okay, the last one on the upper part right here that we want to cover are the Rectus Abdominus. The Rectus Abdominus, or what everyone calls the six-pack. In reality, if you look at the muscle itself, it's actually an 8-pack, but the last pair are below the belt line. So we'll just call it a 6-pack. So you've got those muscles coming down here. That's the Rectus Abdominus. And that helps you to go like that and bend over. It's very important. Okay, down here, you also have a nice set of muscles that all work together. It's more than one muscle. It's multiple muscles, but they're all working right in this area. If you lift your leg up like that, you'll feel it flex right where your leg meets your body, right there in that crease. You feel a tight muscle right about where your pocket is. If you put your hand in your pocket, you will feel that muscle right there. Those are a group of muscles that we simply call the hip flexors. And the hip flexors are very important because they help our leg to come up when it needs to come up. So if you're a runner or other kind of athlete, you have to work those hip flexors. Stretch them, work them. They're very important because if those go out, you're in trouble. So you want to make sure you work the hip flexors. Now, back behind, you have the behind muscles. You actually have 3 on each side. The largest one, the largest muscle in the body, is called the gluteus maximus. Yes, it's very large, and that's your behind muscle. And you also have a gluteus minimus and a gluteus medius, but you don't have to worry about those. The gluteus maximus is very important because it helps your leg to go backwards like this, right? So when you're doing those motions like that, that is the gluteus maximus. Very important muscle, very large. Yes, very important. Okay, time for the lower leg. Right, in your thigh muscle, you have what's called the quadriceps. There's 3 main muscles to the quadriceps, right? And if you kind of get your leg in a bent position, flex it, and then try to straighten it back out, you begin to see them kind of erupting on your legs, right? On the outside right here, you have the vastus lateralis, lateral, like in football, you lateral by passing to the side. So that's the vastus lateralis. You have the vastus medialis, because it's the one on the it's toward the middle, the median, all right? So the vastus medialis is on this side, and then you have the rectus femoris right here in the middle, the rectus femoris. Right there. So that's 3 of those major muscles. You also have the gracilis and sartorius, and you have some other ones in there that are more on the inner thigh that we're not going to worry about. Now, in the back of your leg, you have on the outside, in the back of your knee, you've got these tendons that are right here. Those tendons that are on the outside, those are connected up to the biceps femoris. The biceps femoris, right here on the outside. And then the tendons here on the inside, you can see them connecting right here, right there. They're connected up with 2 different muscles going up the inside of the back of the thigh. That's the semitendinosus semitendinosus, sorry about that, and the semimembranosus. Semitendinosus, semimembranosus, and those three make up some of the major bones of your, or major muscles of your hamstring. So quadriceps and hamstring, your thigh muscles, muy importante, very strong muscles, good muscles. And now, last but not least, the three final muscles of the lower leg. The first one is right here in the front, right next to your tibia, your shin bone. That's the tibia. You have the tibialis, right, named after the tibia, anterior, because it's in the front, the tibialis anterior. That one, to get it to flex, all you have to do is pull your toe upward, and you can see there's the definition of the muscle. It pops out right there. So you pull your toe up, rock back on your heel, and you can see that muscle beginning to flex. Then in the back, you've actually got two muscles. You've got, the first one is the larger, what we call the calf muscle here. That is called the gastrocnemius. And then next to it, coming down the side, is called the soleus. Gastrocnemius and the soleus, those are the ones that go down and connect up with your Achilles tendon at the bottom. And those are the major muscles of your body.